Hey guys, what's going on? Tyraku here, back with another video. Today, I want to continue on the unique champion build series that I've been doing over the past several days, actually probably even a week or so more at this point. With that said, if you want to join, if you have a champion who's a unique build, if you have a team that's a unique build, and you would like to enter for a chance to win some cash, definitely send me a Discord DM, which will be down in the comment section below. You'll see the Discord you can join. Join there. Send me a message and I can definitely see what you got going on, what your ideas are, and we can maybe get a video done. And then towards the end of this month, I'll add like a little voting thing to the Discord channel, and we'll see who has the most unique build, and they can win some prizes, probably for first, second, and third. With that said, I figure, if I'm making these videos, I might as well be having some unique champion builds myself, right? Like some unique teams and unique champions, so on and so forth. So today, I want to share with you guys my arena team, that more specifically my arena defense, but this does work very well as an arena offense team as well. Now there are some champions in this team that a lot of you guys probably won't have. First off, let me check what's going on here. Okay, so that's a referral link video I did previously. Besides that, some of these champions you may not have. That's perfectly fine. I'll try to give you some ideas of what the champions' roles are, and maybe you can like substitute other champions in there for those roles. But typically in arena, what's going to be happening is, I'll just give you an example of what my main team is. When you go in the arena, you want a speed booster most of the time, whether that's like an apothecary who just does increased speed, increased turn meter. My actual like speed buff is the Siffy, and then my turn meter booster is my Arbiter. That goes into my Madame Ceres, who's a debuff champion, and then my Skullcrown, who nukes everybody. That's like a typical arena setup right there, okay? So speed, debuff, nuke. Very, very common. Now, if you're lower in the arena, the arena is not as difficult as it used to be, but it's still fairly difficult. Or if you're not struggling with classic arena, you can use this for 3v3 arena. This is actually one of the 3v3 teams that I use, and I'll actually show you guys kind of what it does against one of these teams later on in the video. The team that I'm talking about is this team right here. If you're watching the Twitch stream, if you've been to the Twitch channel before, then you'll know that for the past few weeks, I've tried to push into Platinum Arena, and my Siffy is at 330 speed about. So yeah, exactly 330. And she's just not fast enough to make it real. Like, I can't win against all the teams, so it's definitely a little difficult. Like, if I could get her to like 350, it'd be a different story, but she's only 330. So I've had to take a different approach, all right? So for my arena defense team, I've been using Hawkhorn, which I'll go over his gear, his set. So he's using a shield set, which isn't super unique. Maybe the resistance or resilience set is unique, but that's not super unique. My Seeker, however, is using a frenzy set, which I think is a little bit more on the unique side of things. And my Skullcrown is using an avenging set, which she is right here. She's using an avenging set. And my Duchess, she's using the least unique set of anybody, which is just a plain, strictly going for stats, not so worried about the set bonus itself. So let's jump into this defense and kind of how it works, and go over like possibly how you can make adjustments and changes as needed. So first off, we'll talk about Seeker. So why is Seeker in this team? Seeker's been talked about before. My Seeker's actually not even masteried, so I definitely need to get this finished, and this will help me with my plat push. But what's Seeker's role? Well, this team is not designed to go first. This team is designed to mostly go second. So you'll see that nobody on my team has super fast speeds. My Duchess is 251, which is relatively on the higher end of things, but compared to people who have 330 speed, she's nothing, okay? So she's super slow. Seeker, however, is in this team for one, he brings a solid aura. We are not worried about going first, so a speed aura is kind of pointless, especially if I'm able to push reasonable speeds, 200 range or so. So we have a defense aura, helps us survive a little bit more hits, but it is passive. This is really where he shines. Heals this champion by 20% HP and places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns when hit with a critical hit. You have him as your leader in your team. Your team is hit with an AoE ability and it crits on him. Then he places up a increased defense, and your team just becomes like stones, and it helps out so much. And I'll give you guys an example later on. Also, the reason why he has a frenzy set on him and why I think this is so good, I actually considered a frost set on him at one point, but the frenzy set is really good, especially with this go second team, because like I said, my team is slow, but they're not like, okay, 150 speed slow, so they're not ever going to get a turn. In the arena though, if you're not going first, you need to make sure you survive through their burst. If you're going to go second, you need to make sure that you're not getting lapped ridiculously, okay? So if they're taking 3 turns to your 1, you're probably not going to survive. So with the Frenzy set, what this does is it gives me plus 10% turn meter for every 5% HP lost. I have Seeker built to be fairly tanky. My whole team is fairly tanky, but he is going to lose some HP. If he loses 50% HP, then he's going to get a lot of turn meter. He's basically going to be going next, or I hope so. Once he does that, he activates this ability right here. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%. Ideally, what's going to happen here is once he takes some damage, he's going to be boosted up in turn meter, and then he's going to boost my allies' turn meter while giving them increased attack, and basically allow my team to cut in on the enemy team, even though champions like my Skullcrown are only 227 speed. Seeker goes before them a lot of the time. What is his speed right now? 228? Okay, so he needs to be faster. He needs to be bumped up a little bit in speed, but this works perfectly fine. Like if you're even lower speed than what he is right now, perfectly fine. The turn meter boost is very, very good. And even if he was 200 speed, he would cut in on the other teams pretty frequently. And I'll give you guys an example in just a little while, especially if he's taking damage. Now, with the masteries though, whenever I actually get mastery set up on him, if I go like right here, decrease the damage all allies receive from the first hit, and this champion receives that damage instead. This is going to be huge with the Frenzy set. And once I get everything fully done, once I do my plat push this weekend, I'm going to have another video about that, and you guys can kind of see how this team fully worked. But I have no plat push done so far, so we can't do that just yet. That's my Seeker. He's there to just like make up some turn meter, fill in the gap. You could use another champion who also in Frenzy gear. Seeker is also massive though for this damage reduction. There's a lot of damage reduction. If you're going to go second, you need to make sure some way you can mitigate some damage somehow. And if you do have squishy champions, you need to make sure you do something to make them survive, which is why I brought Skullcrown. Okay, so Skullcrown is a very, very squishy champion. Most people can kill her pretty easily. However, she places an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn every time their HP drops below 20%. Now, you may be wondering, well, why do you have Avenging gear? Which I've done a video on this before. It's probably pretty clear. Avenging gear does not have damage reduction from the counterattack. Okay, so like retaliation, regular counterattack abilities, those both have damage reductions whenever the champion actually counterattacks. However, Avenging gear does not. It only activates though when you get hit with a critical hit, so it doesn't activate as often, and it's only a 45% chance to activate. But in the arena, most damage dealers are geared up for crit rate. Okay, so she's going to be counterattacking more often than not, it's going to feel like, and she can really do a ton of damage. So if you're going to bring in a DPS to like substitute in for her, you may want to take somebody who's like a defensive based AoE champion on their ability 1, which right off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody who can really fill that role, or somebody who hits really hard on their ability 1 and can take more damage, because Skullcrown, while she doesn't take very much damage at all, like she has no survivability stats, she has this unkillable buff, which is huge, okay? And then tying this into my next champion is Hawkhorn, okay? So Skullcrown's very squishy. She cannot take very much damage at all. And she's in Avenging gear, so this is where all my damage comes from, is from her counterattacks. Now, Hawkhorn, he's geared up with a shield set. The shield set is excellent, okay? So this is something, if you don't take anything else from this video, understand this. An HP champion in a shield set can literally allow your team to survive many, many cases when they go second, okay? Now, if they have a Madame Saris or like a buff removal on the other team and they just take off the shield set, it's gonna be a different story. Obviously, there's not one size fits all for the arena, but if you have a shield set on your champions, this is gonna help you out so much. So my Hawkhorn, he has a 76,000 HP pool. So he's putting up, I think, about a 20,000, a little bit more than that, 25,000, somewhere around there, I believe, point HP shield. So we have their HP pool plus his shield he puts on everybody. Now, my Hawkhorn is not fully optimized. My thought process when building him is, well, I'll show you his skill sets in just a second, but I want to get his HP very high. I want his defense to be a respectable number. I'd rather this be more like 3,000 or so. 3,000 would be a solid mark for him, but I really want his resistance to be way higher. Like I want his resistance to be at least 500. I'm gonna work on getting there with a resistance banner. I'm gonna work on getting there with my Great Hall being finished out, but his resistance needs to be as high as possible. The reason why is because if you're going second, you need to keep in mind a few things. You need to keep in mind, hey, they're probably gonna do a lot of damage, all right? So first off, they're gonna do a lot of damage. Second of all, they're probably gonna be CCing you, okay? Whether that's a stun, whether it's a slow, whatever it may be. You don't want Hawkhorn CC'd simply because of this ability right here. Removes all debuffs from all allies, then places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. And then it's a huge heal, heals him by 15% of his max HP, and heals each ally by an extra 10%. Okay, so if you didn't have Hawkhorn and you wanted to bring somebody else with like a similar role, Battle Sage, while she may not be the best in the shield set, she could do the removal as well. I used her for this before. Places increased attack on all allies, then removes all debuffs on all allies. So you could definitely maybe swap her in for somebody else, throw another champion in a shield set, change up the team like that. But having a go second team, like I'm running right here as an example, or most of the time I'll be going second. It's not very often I go first. You want to make sure you have a shield set to survive through the bursts, and whoever's wearing, not necessarily whoever's wearing your shield set, but whoever is going to be cleansing the debuffs, make sure they either have very high resistance or are wearing an immunity set. For example, if you had, say, a Battle Sage, she could be wearing an immunity set, which essentially gives her a block debuffs at the start of the turn. That can be removed, but she does start off with that. Keep that in mind, and maybe you could throw in like a Mountain King for the shield set. So you have a huge HP pool, a huge shield pool, somebody to cleanse the CCs that somebody may have taken. Obviously, if your damage dealer is controlled, whether it's slept, stun, or whatever it may be, they're not going to be any use to you. So that's what I have going on here right here. Hawkhorn, I especially love Hawkhorn though. He brings the heal, he brings the block debuffs. He's very good for shield set. He also brings decent damage and a stun when it lands. I don't have him geared for accuracy. I'm strictly focused on, hey, I want him to be fast enough to where he's going. No, this is another big thing, sorry. You want to make sure they're fast enough to go before your damage dealers. I know I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but if your debuff removal champion, so like Hawkhorn or Battle Sage or somebody else who does the debuff removal goes after your damage dealer, they're going to be useless, okay? Your damage dealer is already going to have removed the provoke or whatever it may be, and they're going to waste their turn. So you want to make sure that the debuff removal goes before your big heavy hitter, all right? Now, those 3 are like the core unique champions of my team. Those are really like the core parts of the team. Now, Duchess comes in as kind of like just the icing on the top. Duchess ties this whole thing together and really allows the team to survive much longer than they would without her. So Duchess has the decreases the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25%. This basically means that blender teams that use like Skullcrown plus Senesha with like a Longbeard and an Arbiter, where they all attack at the same time, they're not going to kill my team, okay? Duchess is going to do the damage mitigation. I believe I have her masteries. No, I don't have her mastery set up like that. I do have some other champions masteries, I believe, set up like that. This is Hawkhorn's masteries though. He has some like turn meter boost masteries whenever somebody takes a crit. So that's definitely something you want to get. But Duchess is there for mitigation. And then she has the Veil, which also helps reduce some damage. She really ties this thing together, but she's not required for this team. If I wasn't going to use Duchess, maybe I'd use somebody like Rector Drath. Rector Drath doesn't have the damage mitigation, but she does place a Veil up all the time. She consistently has a Veil. She really helps tie the team together. Maybe if I had another champion, I know Taniks Hateflower, I believe, does a damage mitigation. Obviously, don't get me wrong, Taniks is not a replacement that I know of. I mean, I haven't really tested her, but she's not a replacement for Duchess at all. Decreases the damage all allies receive by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead. Obviously, she's going to get nuked down if she receives that damage instead, but there are some other options instead of Duchess, okay? And if anything, just throw a bigger shield set on. Duchess isn't like a 100% you must have her to make this team work. You could even throw another champion in with a shield set and hope it doesn't get removed, because shield sets do stack in the arena. So that's all these champions. I'll show you all their masteries and what we have going on here, kind of what everything's looking like. So here, I can break down each champion. I'll probably break down each champion more so in another video in the future. If you would like to understand like a full in-depth breakdown of this arena team, let me know and I can do that. But for now, we'll just do like a quick, like 15 minutes already, but overview of the team, kind of what's going on. My Skullcrown, I got another look at this secret down here. This is, don't tell anybody about this, okay? But check this out. Another 6-star Skullcrown coming up, all right? So that's going to be pretty nasty for the arena. All right, so here we go. Skullcrown, this is what she's looking like. And then we have Seeker. has no masteries whatsoever. Let's jump in the arena, guys, and let me show you what exactly is going to be happening here. So we'll see if I have any teams that could be decent to go against, maybe. That's the issue, is being in gold 4. A little tricky. Well, I mean, all the arenas are kind of difficult right now. Let's pick a team that I know I'll be going second against. So this team's going to do a decent amount of damage. I'm thinking this team's going to do the most damage. One of these. So this has the highest player power. So hopefully this is going to be like the hardest hitting team. So let me throw my go second team down there. I'll go ahead and play through these first 2 matches, guys, and then I'll be back to show you guys what the last match looks like. All right, guys, so we're starting up this 3rd match now. I want to go ahead and get started as soon as this thing started up because I know they're going to go first. But as you can see, they bursted down my team. They're not really doing a whole lot. My Skullcrown got a counterattack just now. My Seeker is getting a decent amount of turn meter. Like, he gained quite a bit. However, he didn't lose very much HP, as you can see, because of the shield set. Once I get his masteries done where he's taking more damage, that's going to help his turn meter boost up a little bit more. But he's still doing very, very well. And he did get provoked. So did my Hawkhorn. Now, if my Hawkhorn had a lot more resistance, that wouldn't have happened. And that's what I want to prevent from happening. But this is how this team works, okay? So you have their speed booster. All of their damage potential didn't do anything. My Skullcrown finally died because of the reflect damage from Molly, which kind of sucks, but not a huge deal at all. They could literally... Oh, also, Duchess brings a res. That is huge for this team as well, because Skullcrown possibly does die sometimes. Typically, she does enough counterattacks where she doesn't die, though. Let me see if I can find another team, guys, to give you an example of what's going on here. Let's refresh this real quick. Perfect. We got another... Oh, this is perfect. Let me go to this second team. This is a blender team, 202,000 player power. So I assume they're fairly progressed as far as like how their account works. So let me jump in here. I'll skip this first battle and show you guys what's going to happen in the second one. So make sure you pay attention to, well, just all the damage is going to be taken from my team. But Seeker may die here. Seeker does die sometimes. Okay, so he does fall. He does end up dying. Not a huge deal though, because we got Duchess to just res him up. And then Hawkhorn, we'll just use him to cleanse everything right now, because they have no champions who can place debuffs necessarily. So Hawkhorn will basically give Skullcrown a full heal, which doesn't do anything really to Skullcrown because she's going to die next hit anyways. But then Seeker comes back, more HP, means more room for the frenzy set to work from. We always want his HP to be on the higher end, to be reduced versus very low, because if it's reduced, he dies and nothing happens. All right, so let's go ahead and boost the team here. This is what I love about Seekers, this turn meter boost helps us cut in on our team. So we can see here that Longbeard's going to go next. I'm probably just going to go ahead and hit Sinesha, to be honest, or I can hit Arbiter. She's out of turn meter boost though, so I'm just going to hit Sinesha. Hopefully can provoke her or kill her. Either one's fine, but then Skullcrown comes in, kills basically everybody. They got an Avenging Skullcrown, it appears, as well. Possibly just the Mastery proc. I don't really know. I didn't remember what her HP was at. And then we just come in here and clean up the team. So a team like this, Seeker is really what makes this team extremely good against blender comps because of his increased defense that he places instantly. But shield sets are a very, very good buffer from getting just absolutely destroyed against blender teams. So we just went ahead and lost both of those matches. I'll go back and play them later on or something to go ahead and beat them. But there you go, guys. That is my unique arena team. And if you want to see how it works when pushing Platinum Arena this weekend, on twitch.tv/Tyraku from 11 p.m. until 3 a.m. Eastern time, I'll be working on arena reset push and trying to place in Platinum Arena. That'll probably happen about 1 a.m. Eastern time. Actually, probably about 2 a.m. is when I really start pushing. And then hopefully this will be the week, okay? So I got a few things I need to work on. I need to get my resistance up on some of my champions. I need to make my Seeker get his masteries actually finished. But that's going to be the goal, guys. Placing Platinum Arena this weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a little bit more ideas on what you can use within your own teams. Hopefully that breakdown makes sense to you. If you have any specific videos you want to see from me, definitely leave it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click one of the videos that are about to pop up. I'll catch you in the next video.